Well, good morning. John here again. Might hear some thunder out there. It's starting to thunder. I just walked on the treadmill. I went and disconnected the solar panel arrays. I didn't want. I have disconnects at the, and then I actually disconnect the cables as well, the MC4 cables, but. Anyhow, I thought I'd do a little talk here. I see the last one got like 9 views, I think. It seems like when I talk about my relationship with God, that's not very popular, and that's okay. It's just a sign of the times. The scripture says. How does it go? They will fall away from the Creator and worship the creation. Something like that. I'd have to read it, but that's basically the gist of it. They will, mankind will give up worshiping the Creator and worship what's created, and you can see that in all throughout life. You know, they whatever it may be, but it seems like YouTube kind of proves that. But yeah. It's interesting. I like the lyrics of a song. I forget what it is. It's breathe in God's grace and breathe out His praise. And I try to do that the best I can. And also the 2 commandments: love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, and love thy neighbor as thyself. But anyhow, the topic of today's talk, for what it's worth, I guess you might say, is this picture right here. I don't know if you can see that. It's about 40 years ago, and I'm standing about right here. Because I'm in this room right here, the man cave I call it. This is the main house. This is the garage, and that's the man cave. But you see this plastic on here. Well, let me first start with the lot. What I'm paying in property taxes now, in just a little over a year, purchased the lot. That's how much the dollar has been devalued in 40 years. And I believe it's exponentially gonna get worse. It seems like currency collapses are like throughout history. If you look at before the dollar was the reserve currency, and that just means that's what everybody goes to settle trade, and that's quickly changing. And before the dollar, it was the British sterling. Before the British sterling, I believe it was was it Danish? I can't remember. You can look up, and look up the average lifespan of a fiat reserve currency. I think it's around 200 years or so, or maybe less. Maybe, well, I can't remember. You'd have to look it up. But it's kind of like 2 magnets. You know, it's getting closer and closer and closer and closer, and then right at the fall of it, it's like all at once. You know, just like 2 magnets, when you get them real close, it goes real fast. And I think, in my my humble opinion, I think that's where we're at. We're at that real close spot where it's going to go real fast. And people wonder why that is. Well, they think it's the money printer. It's loans. They just like the big beautiful bill that was just signed. Basically, what that does is that puts more of a tax burden on the middle class, because we're the ones that have to pay it back in our taxes. And then that money goes to whatever that small club that we aren't in profits from, whether it be whatever they're spending it on. And it's generally pork projects that they all get promised to sign that big beautiful bill. It may be like in California, it was the rail that went nowhere. I don't even know if they got any tracks laid. It was this high-speed rail project. And then you got the industrial war machine complex. They're getting, so that small club that we aren't in gets richer from those fugazi money that was created when they signed those big beautiful bills. And then we get to pay it back on our taxes. Our national debt goes up. And you no longer can do what I did because you're completely out of the game. I guess that's where that term, you'll own nothing and be happy. Well, I don't know about the be happy part, but you'll own nothing, basically. You'll be a forever renter of the mama state, the socialist state, I guess you might say. And what's happening in New York right now is very concerning, because a lot of the young people are falling for it, hook, line, and sinker. But once they get there, they're not going to like it. And getting out of it is, history proves, is very, very, very bloody. A lot of people die. But back to this day here. You see the plastic? I think I spent $100 on all that plastic, and the next day I came out and raccoons had just used it as a slide, and it was all tore to shreds. Because I built this house, and I paid for it as I went. I never had a mortgage. So I got the lot paid for, I got the foundation in, and I got the first floor framed. And then I stopped until I got enough more money to buy the framing lumber for the house and how I solved it is the construction company I was working for at the time. We did a lot of metal buildings, and there were cover sheets that would come, and I brought those cover sheets. They just get tossed out, and I brought those home, and I covered up the deck, and I had that covered for, it was probably close to a year that I had it covered up, and then I proceeded onward. But I think you could probably still do that now, but it would be more of a challenge. It seems like to stay ahead in the current system right now, you've got to be in business for yourself and constantly moving your money in whatever, trading commodities, equities, whatever. You got to constantly be moving, making digits go higher to keep up with the rate of their their devaluing, because and it might be a point where it's not saved, and it just kind of collapses, kind of like it has in the past in other, and then the standard of living goes exponentially down for all the people living in that region. But yeah, I was looking at this picture, and I was thinking of how the day the raccoons destroyed my plastic, and but yeah, I think probably what I spent in materials to build this house now probably would just buy what the lot would cost now. I'm guessing that's probably the case, but yeah, I feel bad. I feel bad for people. I feel bad for my grandsons, and even my kids. It's what they have done to the money. A good book to read about the money is Creature from Jekyll Island. It talks about when the Federal Reserve was created in 1913. And I feel bad for that. I feel bad for people that have to live in it and survive in it and try to make it. And I also feel bad that people fall away from their maker, and don't acknowledge. It'd be like me building a house. I remember my daughter used to say, she always used to thank me for building a house, that she had a place to live and grow up in, and but the odds of this earth being such that it can sustain life in a way that it does, that's, if you bite into a peach or whatever favorite fruit you have, and think that just happened, that's beyond my comprehension, how people can think that way. I guess because I'm a builder, and I know things have to, I've gone into it before, the amount of information that's in each of us. And so this was 40 years ago, and now I ponder what the scriptures say. Jesus preparing a place for me. what it's looking like, what stage he's at. I got one the other day, an ad. It just out of the nowhere, I was on the internet, and I got an ad for caskets. So I don't know, maybe it's closer than it is closer than, I'm 66, I was 26 when I did this, so it goes by fast, folks. It goes by fast. And don't take the lie that he doesn't exist. Don't believe that lie. And even though you get very few views and people listening when you talk about him, keep talking about him. Keep believing in him. Keep walking by faith. Alrighty, you all have a good one, and God bless.